Hello guys, I am back with another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message I received it via Facebook Messenger, and I had to ask one of our admins to give us a translation. The message reads like this. Good afternoon, Brother Nashi. I want to confess everything that I did. Please, can you share my own story? I am a woman who is aged 38 years old. I am currently residing in Europe. I have my own story to tell. These things, it started to happen in 2016. Then in 2018, I had already met this other man on Facebook. This was when I was still married to my husband. When I met this man who was staying in Europe, who is much older than I am, I dated that man, and my friend who was in America by that time, she is the one who had convinced me to date this man, even though she knew that I was still married to my ex-husband. I left my ex-husband back in Africa. Things were not okay. By then, me and my husband and our kids, we were living in abject poverty. My husband at that time was just doing general work type of jobs. Wherever he could get a piece job, he would go there. But when he would come back home, the money was never enough for anything. When I looked at our own life, I saw that we were not going anywhere. Here I was, a fully trained nurse. At that time, I was working in the government with a lot of experience. I had tried to raise some money for my husband so that he can start a small business. The first thing that I did is that I tried to purchase a car for him so that he can use it as a sort of like an Uber to take people to work and to bring them back home. But no matter how hard I tried to help him, my husband, I noticed that he had too much bad luck. He crashed that car. When he crashed that car, the car never got repaired because in the house we never had any extra money. The time when he called me when I was at work and he told me that he was involved in an accident, he was not hurt or anything, but the car, when he sent me the pictures of the car, I cried so much. I had tried to give him a lot of opportunities. I had tried to invest in him, but I had seen that my husband had too much bad luck. I felt that my husband was just useless. But as someone who was a good wife, as someone who regularly went to church, I knew that I had to support my husband. I kept on looking after my husband. This was after one of my workmates had a divorce with her husband, and she had managed to find a job at a private hospital, which was in South Africa. The first time that she started working in South Africa, I think she was working at Netcare or something, I think. My friend then relocated to South Africa, and 6 months down the line, whenever she would send me her current pictures, I could see that she was a totally changed woman. Money will make you more beautiful. When my friend was still in Zim, she was not someone who was outgoing. But the time that she was working in South Africa, I saw that she was an outgoing person and she looked more beautiful. I wanted to be like her. She was a fully independent woman now, and in no time, she told me that she had bought a new house via a bank bond. The next time she purchased a sports car, it was a beautiful Audi. It was a beautiful sports car, and when I looked at her life back here in Zim, sometimes we would earn less than 5,000 rands a month. But when she would show me most of her pay slips with her overtime that she was doing, she was earning close to 20,000 rands a month. I had never dreamt of such a salary. My friend kept on telling me that I had to do things, I had to open my eyes, and I had to come to South Africa. But I was tied to my husband. I could not dump my husband like that. And I had tried to apply to a lot of government hospitals in South Africa, and I kept on being turned down simply because of my husband. He was dragging me behind. I then thought of a plan of also dumping my husband and running away from him. I had a plan in mind. I was going to run away to South Africa. Whenever I would look at my husband, mostly when I would come back from work and my husband would try to touch me so that he can have intercourse with me, I would insult him in my heart because according to my friend, my husband was more like a dead weight that was dragging me behind. And with all the experience that I had as a nurse, my friend told me that I didn't deserve to be suffering like this. I deserved to be earning a lot of money and being married to a man who was at least rich so that the man can take good care of me. So she said at that time she was dating a fellow doctor who was from DRC. That doctor then found an opportunity to go and work as a doctor in America. My friend told me that I should find her a lawyer so that she can quickly get divorced to her husband because she didn't want to lose this opportunity to migrate to America. I did as my friend had told me. I quickly got a lawyer so that she can get divorced to her husband, whom she had dumped in Zim when she was migrating to South Africa. I did that, Brother Nashi, and I still remember the day that the man was served with the divorce papers. I still remember watching my friend's ex-husband crying. He cried a lot. I still remember my friend's ex-husband trying to threaten my friend with the custody of their kids, but my friend did something that I never thought that she would do. She then gave him full custody of their kids. All she wanted was to go to America, and with her doctor from DRC, they got married in Pretoria. She sent me some money so that I can come and be a witness to her wedding. They had their wedding in Pretoria. It was just a private wedding that they did, and the man left for America. After a couple of years, my friend then followed him to the USA. Now she is with him in the USA. All along, my friend used to help me on a monthly basis. She would help me with money for groceries. This she did from the time that she started working in South Africa. She said that I will never forget you because she was one of my closest friends. From the first salary that she got when she was still working in South Africa, she used to send me a lot of money. Even when she was in America, she kept on sending me money for groceries each and every month, until one day she said, "My friend, from now onwards, I will never help you if you are still staying with your good-for-nothing husband. I will only help you if you break up with your husband." I tried to ignore my friend, but then poverty said, "You are lying." Poverty left me with no choice. Then I spoke with my friend. I asked her everything that she wanted me to do so that she can continue helping me. She then hooked me up with an older man whom I eventually got married to. I then dumped my husband and I divorced my husband. But my brother, after I had divorced my husband and I didn't tell him the truth that I'll be migrating to Europe, because with this man that I was dating, we had already made a lot of plans. He secretly came to Zim, that old man, so that he can spend time with me. When he came to me, I actually went with this white man to my relatives, and none of my relatives ever told this man that when he came to Zim to visit me, I was still staying with my husband. I had no other choice, but this man was like my ticket to Europe. That is the reason why I decided to keep this secret. Even my family members, they knew that we had to keep this secret so that the man can take me back with him to Europe. When my husband finally heard that I was migrating to Europe after we had gotten divorced, he thought that maybe I just wanted a divorce. So he agreed to get a divorce. But when he heard that I was migrating to Europe, my husband drank rat poison. This was on the night that I flew out of Zim on my way to Europe. At that time, when I heard that my husband had drank rat poison, I said, I don't care if he drinks rat poison. I don't care if he drinks acid. It was his choice to end his own life, and I said, I am fighting for my own life. Then I switched my phone at that time. Then I switched off my phone. At that time, I was still at the airport. I arrived here in Europe, moved in with my current old husband, and I became a citizen. But Brother Nashi, in my heart, there is too much pain. No matter what I try to do, this thing, it hurts me. Whenever I think about it, sometimes I just start to cry. Luckily enough, my ex-husband did not die. They found him and they rushed him to the hospital. He survived that suicide attempt. But I am so lonely, Brother Nashi. The man that I am married to, he is way older than I am. As for now, he is suffering from erectile dysfunction. We can even go for up to 4 months without having sexual intercourse. He is old, Brother Nashi, but he was my ticket to Europe, so I have to respect him for that. He kept his promises, and I am trying to keep my own promises to him. I have never cheated on him ever since I arrived in Europe. But I am so lonely, Brother Nashi, because all of my kids, they have all refused to come and join me here in Europe. They said that they will never come to Europe and leave their own father in Africa. My eldest daughter is studying at the University of Joburg. She refused to go to Harvard and she chose to go to the University of Johannesburg. My kids blame me for what their father did. They blame me for the time that he tried to end his own life. But I was fighting for them, my brother. I know that everything that I did, it was morally wrong, but I was doing it for them. Yesterday, I cried so much. This was after I was speaking with my daughter and I was asking her why she refused to come and join me here in Europe. Then she said that, Mother, everything that you are saying, everything that you claim to have done for us, you did it because you are just a selfish person. After she told me that I was just a selfish woman, I dropped the call and I cried so much because I kept on asking myself if my daughter is someone who does not appreciate me. I kept on asking myself, okay, if I had remained back in Zim, if I was still a poor nurse in Zim, would have my daughter been able to study at the University of Johannesburg with all the expensive fees? Me being in Europe, is it not the reason why she was able to study at the University of Johannesburg? This has crushed me so much, my brother. Please help me to bring my kids closer to me. It has been 5 years since I last saw my kids. I last saw my kids when my last born was still 3 years old. Hey, dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from our dear sister who is saying that she is currently staying in Europe with her husband. Please let us try to speak with her in the comment section. What can she do so that she can be closer to her kids? She wants her kids to join her in Europe, but her kids are refusing to migrate to Europe. Please let us try to speak with her in the comment section. I'll be back with another episode.